And now it's time for the National Conference Showcase game. From the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings host the New Orleans Saints. And now for the starting lineups. First for the visiting New Orleans Saints, managed by Scott Claxton. Unproven and still learning the ropes, Claxton brings a personable touch but has shown flashes of temper when the game gets tight. A conventional manager in his first year, he's looking to prove he belongs in the Shield. Batting first and playing third base, number 16, Johnny van der Linden. Batting second and playing first base, number 20, Tim Hoagland. Batting third and playing second base, number 5, Jesus Lopez. Batting fourth and playing right field, number 12, Bill Jenkins. Batting fifth and playing shortstop, number 18, David Thompson. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 8, Jason McGuire. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 2, Sandy Tello. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 34, Jeremy Dake. Batting ninth, the starting pitcher, number 43, Sam Davis. In 2 games, Sam has a record of 2-0, an ERA of 2.4, and a whip of 1.6. He has a strikeout per 9 of 6.0 and a walks per 9 of 4.2. He's 30 years old. And now the starting lineup for the home-standing Minnesota Vikings, managed by Jim Lee. Also in his first season, Lee is unproven but steady, leaning on conventional approach. With little track record, he's a blank slate, but managing in the NBC North means trial by fire against seasoned rivals. Batting first and playing second base, number 22, Evan Huber. Batting second, playing left field, number 1, Billy Farnan. Batting third and playing first base, number 3, Jeremy Lamb. Batting fourth, playing right field, number 20, Alejandro Navarro. Batting fifth and playing catcher, number 35, Mike Cook. Batting sixth, the shortstop, number 18, Alberto Mancia. Batting seventh, playing third base, number 13, Michael Captello. Batting eighth, playing center field, number 14, Antonio Negrete. Batting ninth, the starting pitcher, number 8, John Glenn. In 2 games, his record is 1-1, a 6.97 ERA, and a 1.26 whip. His strikeout per 9s is 7.0, and his walk per 9 is a stingy 0.9. He's 29 years old. Conditions: we're under the dome. 35,000 fans in the stands. The Minnesota Vikings are in first place in their division with an overall record of 7-5. They are 3-3 at home. The New Orleans Saints are in first place in their division, tied for first, which means they're also tied for first in the wild card, with an overall record of 8-4. They are 3-0 on the road. Play ball. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Metrodome. Today, the Vikings go up against the Saints. New Orleans comes in at 8-4, placing them first in the National Conference South. Minnesota holds down first place in the National Conference North with a record of 7-5. These two teams square off for the first time. We're ready to get started. On the hill for Minnesota, John Glenn. He's one win so far and 6.97 ERA. The first pitch is hit in a line drive to the shortstop. He'll make the catch for the first out, and we're underway. Let's look at the defense for the Minnesota Vikings. In left field, Billy Farnan. Antonio Negretti in center field. Alejandro Navarro in right. Michael Captillo is the third baseman. Alberto Mancia at short. Evan Huber is the second baseman. And Jeremy Lamb at first. The battery, Mike Cook behind the plate. And on the mound, right-hand pitcher John Glenn. He's thrown 10 2/3 innings, with 12 hits allowed, 8 earned runs, 1 walk, and he struck out 8 batters. The batter, right-hand hitting Tim Hoagland. The first baseman's hitting .200 on the year. 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Top of the first inning. Here's the payoff pitch from John Glenn. That's hit on the ground to the second baseman. He picks it up. Throws the first in time for the first out. That ball was scalded. Nice play by Evan Huber, the second baseman for the Minnesota Vikings. 2 out now. The batter, left-hand hitter Jesus Lopez. The second baseman's hitting .303 with 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. The right-hand pitcher Glenn facing the lefty Lopez. Nobody on, 2 out. Here's the full count pitch. That's it in the air. It's sailing, and it will leave the yard. That's a home run. And that will put the Saints on the board. He got all of that one. A no-doubter to right center field. Let's look at the tail of the tape for that one. Jesus Lopez hit the ball 401 feet. It was 100 miles an hour off the bat in exit velocity, a 28-degree angle. He hit an 89-mile-an-hour fastball from John Glenn, and took him deep. He'll circle the bases. Good old number 5. The Saints lead 1-0. The 2-out homer. Now the right-hand hitter Bill Jenkins will come to the plate. He's the cleanup hitter. He's hitting .220 on the year. Right-hand pitcher Glenn versus the righty Jenkins. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1-0. That's in the air to center field. He moves toward right, and he'll make the catch to retire the side. The Saints get a run and jump out in front 1-0. We go to the bottom of the first inning. For the Vikings, it will be Huber, Farnan, and Lamb due up. Here's the defense for the New Orleans Saints. In left field, Sandy Tello. Jeremy Dake in center field. Bill Jenkins in right. The third baseman, Jamie Van der Linden. The shortstop, David Thompson. And Jesus Lopez at second base. Tim Hoagland at first base. The battery, Jason McGuire behind the plate. And on the mound, right-hand pitcher Sam Davis. Evan Huber, right-hand hitter, will step to the plate. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. Bottom of the first inning. The Vikings already trail by a run. Here's the pitch. That's it in the air to right field. He's moving toward the foul line, and he'll make the catch. One away. Left-hand hitter Billy Farnan will step in. The left fielder is hitting .326 on the year. No homers and 4 runs batted in. Right-hand pitcher Davis against the lefty Farnan. Here's the payoff pitch, the 0-2. In the air, in the infield, the third baseman will make the catch of the pop-up for the second out. Right-hand hitter Jeremy Lamb will step to the plate. He's the number 3 hitter. The first baseman's hitting .310. 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Righty versus righty. 2 out. Bottom of the first inning. Vikings trail by a run. Here's the payoff pitch, the 0-2. That's in there, a strike called, and that retires the side. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on base. The score is 1-0 Saints over the Vikings. Top of the second inning. For the Saints, it'll be Thompson, McGuire, and Tello, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, due up. Here's right-hand hitting David Thompson. He's hitting .325 on the year, 6 home runs, and 12 runs batted in. Here's the payoff pitch, the 3-0. And that's low, ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. David Thompson at first, the batter, left-hand hitting Jason McGuire. The right-hander Glenn on the mound. Nobody out, top of the second inning. The Saints lead by 1. Here's the payoff pitch. He lays one down. The first baseman gets it, throws to second baseman, covering first for the out. The sacrifice is successful. David Thompson moves to second base. 1 out. The batter, left-hand hitting Sandy Tello. He's the number 7 hitter. The left fielder's hitting .205. No homers, 6 runs batted in. Right-hand pitcher Glenn facing the lefty Tello. 1 away, man in scoring position. Saints lead by a run. Here's the payoff. The 1-2 pitch. That's on the ground to third. He picks it up, looks the runner back, makes the throw across the diamond to get the out. 2 out now. Thompson still at second base with 2 out. The left-hand hitter Jeremy Dake will step to the plate. He's the number 8 hitter. The center fielder is hitting .297 on the season. No homers, 4 runs batted in. Righty versus lefty. Here's the payoff pitch, the 1-0. That's on the ground in front of the plate. The pitcher will pick it up. Throw to first in time. Side retired. New Orleans with a walk, but nothing else. The score remains 1-0 Saints. Bottom of the second inning. For the Vikings, it'll be Navarro, Cook, and Mancia due up. The right-hander Davis on the mound facing the lefty Navarro. Here's the payoff pitch, the 1-0. That's in the air to right field. He's racing towards center, but he'll make the catch for the first out. Here's the right-hand hitter Mike Cook. He's the catcher, the number 5 hitter, hitting .229 on the season. No homers, 4 runs batted in. Right-hand pitcher versus the right-hand hitter. The payoff pitch, the 1-ball, 2-strike delivery. And he swings and misses, strike 3. That's the second out. Here's the right-hand hitter Alberto Mancia. The shortstop is the number 6 hitter, hitting .250 on the season, 1 homer, 9 runs batted in. Righty versus righty. 2 out, bottom of the second inning. The Vikings trail by a run. Here's the pitch. That's on the ground to third. He scoops it up. Throws across the diamond in time to retire the side. That ends the Minnesota second. The Vikings are set down in order. New Orleans still leads 1-0. We played 2 innings. The score 1-0 New Orleans. Due up for the Saints is the pitcher Davis, followed by Van der Linde and Hoagland due up. Right-hand pitcher Glenn facing the righty Davis. The pitcher. Here's the pitch. The 2-1. That's in the air on the infield. The shortstop is waiting on it, and he'll make the catch for the first out. Here's the leadoff hitter, Jamie Van der Linden. Right-hand pitcher versus the righty hitter. 1 out. Saints lead by a run, 1-0. Here's the payoff. The 1-1 pitch. That's in the air to right field. He's racing toward the track. He's on the track, and he'll make the catch for the second out. Alejandro Navarro, the right fielder for the Minnesota Vikings, makes a fine play. Here's the number 2 hitter for the Saints, Tim Hoagland. He's 0 for 1 today, hitting not 195 on the season. 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Here's the payoff pitch with 2 out, the 3-1. That misses, ball 4, and he'll take the base with 2 out. Walk number 2 for John Glenn. The Minnesota starter has not struck out anyone. Coming to the plate, the left-hand hitter, Jesus Lopez. He's the number 3 hitter. The second baseman is hitting .324. He's got a home run in the game. He's responsible for the run on the board. Righty versus the left-hander. 2 out. Man on first. Here's the payoff. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Side retired. No hits, 1 walk for New Orleans. The score remains 1-0 New Orleans. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. For the Vikings, it'll be Captello, Nagide, and the pitcher Glenn due up. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Right-hander Davis facing the right-hander Michael Captello. Here's the payoff pitch. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Had him out on 3 pitches. That's the first out. Here's Antonio Nagide. The center fielder is the number 8 hitter. He's hitting 195 on the season with 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. Righty versus righty. 1 out. Vikings trail by a run. Here's the 1-0. That's on the ground to the shortstop. He'll play it. Throw to first in time. 2 out. Nice play by David Thompson, the Saints shortstop. Here's the left-hand hitter, John Glenn. Facing the right-hand hitter, pitcher, Davis. 2 out. Nobody on. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1-ball, 2-strike delivery. It's hit in the air to right field. That'll get down for a base hit. 2-out base knock for Glenn. And the pitcher is aboard. Leadoff hitter Evan Huber will step to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today, hitting .289 on the season. 1 homer, 3 runs batted in. The pitcher at first base, not a threat to steal. 2 out, bottom of the 3rd inning. Vikings trail by a run. Here's the payoff pitch. The 2-1 pitch in the air on the infield. The second baseman will make the catch to retire the side. The Vikings get nothing on 1 hit. The score remains the same, 1-0 New Orleans. We played 3 innings. For the Saints, it'll be 1 run on 1 hit, no errors. For the Vikings, no runs on 1 hit and no errors. Due up in the top of the 4th inning, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Saints, Jenkins, Thompson, and McGuire. Right-hand pitcher John Glenn for the Minnesota Vikings. He's allowed 1 hit, 1 earned run. He's walked 2 batters and struck out 1. Here's Bill Jenkins. He's 0 for 1 today. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's in the air to center field. He's racing, and he'll get there. Makes the catch. 1 away. Fine play by Antonio Negretti for the Vikings in center field. Here's the right-hand hitter, David Thompson. He doesn't have an at-bat. Right-hand hitter versus the righty, Glenn. 1 away, top of the 4th inning. Saints lead 1-0. Here's the payoff pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's hit in the air over the shortstop and into left field for a base hit. 1 out base knock for David Thompson. He's not a threat to steal. The left-hand hitting Jason McGuire will step in, the number 6 hitter. The catcher's hitting 194 on the season. 1 homer. 5 runs batted in. Righty versus lefty. Here's the payoff. 1-2. In the air to left field. He's on the warning track, and he'll make the catch. He'll get the ball back in. That's the 2nd out. David Thompson remains at first base. 2 out now, and the batter is left-hand hitting Sandy Tello. The number 7 hitter is 0 for 1. New Orleans leads 1-0. We're at the Metrodome in Minneapolis as the Minnesota Vikings host the New Orleans Saints in the Shield. Baseball is back. Here's the pitch from the right-hand pitcher John Glenn to the lefty Tello. The 1-1. That's hit in the air, and that's a base hit. I think so. No, it's in foul ground, and he gets there to make the catch in the air. And that will end the New Orleans half of the 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a man left on. The Saints still have the lead, 1-0. Bottom of the 4th inning. For the Vikings, it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Farnan, Lamb, and Navarro. Navarro is on a hot streak. The right-hand pitcher, Sam Davis, in 3 innings of work, has given up 1 hit, and he struck out 3 batters. He'll face the lefty, Bill Farnan. He's 0 for 1. Hitting .318 on the season. No homers, 4 runs batted in. Here's the payoff pitch, the full count delivery. That's on the ground. It's to the pitcher mound. He picks it up, throws the first, and that's in time. Close play, but he's out. 1 away. Here's the number 3 hitter, Jeremy Lamb. The first baseman is 0 for 1 today, hitting .302 on the season, 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. Righty versus righty. The payoff. The 1-0 pitch. He hits it on the ground to third base. He scoops it, takes his time, throws across the diamond in time for the out. 2 away. The cleanup hitter, lefty Alejandro Navarro, will step to the plate for the Vikings. The Vikings trail by a run. They have 1 hit. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Righty Sam Davis ready to deliver. The 2-2 pitch. That's in the air, and that's a base hit to left field. So with 2 out, he gets a base knock on the 65-mile-an-hour curveball. The righty, Mike Cook, will step to the plate, the number 5 hitter. The catcher's hitting .222 on the year. He's 0 for 1 today. Alejandro Navarro at first base, not a threat to steal. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. Full count to the delivery. He hit that in the air, and that'll get over the shortstop into center field for a base hit. The runner will go all the way to third base. Alejandro Navarro is at third. So 2 hits with 2 outs, and the Vikings have runners on the corner. The tying runs at third, the go-ahead runs at first, and right-hand hitting Alberto Mancilla will step to the plate. He's the number 6 hitter. The shortstop hitting .244 on the year. He's 0 for 1 today. 2 out, bottom of the fourth. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1-ball, 2-strike delivery. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will end the inning. Nothing on 2 hits for Minnesota. The Saints still lead it 1-0. We've played 4 innings. New Orleans leads Minnesota 1-0. For the Saints in the top of the 5th, it'll be Dake, the pitcher Davis, and the leadoff man Van der Linden due up. Here's left-hand hitting Jeremy Dake. He's 0 for 1, hitting .289 on the season. No homers, 4 runs batted in. The right-hand pitcher Glenn, in his 5th inning of work, delivers to the lefty Dake. He hits the first pitch in the air on the infield. The third baseman ranging over on the infield grass, and he'll make the catch for the first out. Here's the pitcher, Sam Davis. On the season, he's 1 for 5. He's 0 for 1 today. Righty versus righty. Here's the pitch, the 0-2. He swings and misses, strike 3. He gave a customary wave, but he didn't make contact. 2 out now. The leadoff man, Jamie Van der Linden, will step to the plate. He's 0 for 2, hitting .283 on the year. 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. No balls, 1 strike. That's in the air to center field. He's racing back. He won't get it. It's all the way off the wall. That's an easy double for Van der Linden. It looks like Jamie Van der Linden was injured on the play. The trainer examines his right foot, and it's determined not to be serious. He can remain in the game. So Van der Linden is at second base, and the batter is the right-hand hitting Tim Hoagland. He's the number 2 hitter. The first baseman is only hitting .195 on the season. He's 0 for 1 today. 2 out. The Saints already lead by a run. The righty Glenn against the righty Hoagland. The payoff. Full count. Delivery. That's hit on the ground to the second baseman. He rushes it, picks it up, and throws the first to retire the side. That's the inning. No runs. 1 hit, no errors. A runner left on base. The Saints still out in front of the Vikings 1-0. Bottom of the 5th inning. For Minnesota, it'll be Captillo, Negretti, and the pitcher Glenn due up. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Sam Davis in his 5th inning of work, facing the right-hand hitting Captillo. Here's the pitch, the 1-0. That's in the air to right field. He moves and makes the catch for the first out. Routine. 1 away. Here's right-hand hitting Antonio Negretti. He's the number 8 hitter. He's 0 for 1. Righty versus righty. The payoff pitch, the 1-1 pitch. That's in the air to center field. He races toward the infield. Now he's there, and he'll make the catch. 2 out. Here's the pinch hitter. The left-hand hitting Johnny Luna will step to the plate. He's 2 for 8 on the season. He has no home runs and 1 run batted in. Right-hand pitcher versus the lefty Johnny Luna. 2 out, bottom of the 5th inning. The Vikings trail by a run, 1-0. Here's the payoff pitch. First pitch hitting Luna hits a ground ball to the second baseman. He scoops it up and throws the first in time. That will retire the side. No outs, no runs, no hits, and nobody left on. The score is still 1-0 Saints over the Vikings. We played 5 innings. For New Orleans, it's 1 run on 3 hits, no errors. For Minnesota, it's no runs on 3 hits and no errors. Top of the sixth inning, the New Orleans Saints will send up Lopez, Jenkins, and Thompson, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. We have a pitching change for Minnesota. They will send to the mound the right-hand pitching Aaron Amato. He is 1-0 on the season, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 1 earned run. He's walked 3 batters and struck out 8. Left-hand hitting Jesus Lopez will lead off the 6th inning for the New Orleans Saints. They lead 1-0. He is 1 for 2. A home run is responsible for this game, this lead. Righty versus the lefty. Here's the payoff pitch to him. Full count pitch. Nobody out, nobody on. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning. Here's the right-hand hitting Bill Jenkins, the cleanup hitter. The right fielder is 0 for 2 today. Righty versus righty, 1 out. Top of the 6th inning. Here's the payoff pitch. No balls, 1 strike. Ground ball to the third baseman, and it's by him into left field, and it'll go all the way to the corner. He's headed for second. There'll be a play, and he's safe. Scored a double for Jenkins. So Bill Jenkins is at second base, the insurance run, and the batter is right-hand hitting David Thompson. The number 5 hitter is the shortstop. He's hitting .341. He is 1 for 1 today. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. Top of the 6th inning. Minnesota versus New Orleans. In the Shield. Here's the payoff pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. That's in the air. On the infield. The second baseman is racing toward the plate, and he'll make the catch for the first out. Two out, top of the 6th. Bill Jenkins at second base. The left-hand hitting Jason McGuire will step up. He's the number 6 hitter. The catcher is 0 for 1. Righty Amato facing the lefty McGuire. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1 ball, 2 strikes. He swings and misses, and that retires the side. No runs on 1 hit. No errors. 1 left on. New Orleans still leading 1-0. Bottom of the 6th inning. For Minnesota, it'll be the top of the order. Huber, Vernon. Okay, let me say this right. Huber, Farnan, and Lamb due up. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1-0. That's it in the air, and it's a base hit to center field. That's the first solid single I've seen today. Solid base hit for Evan Huber, the leadoff man. Good speed aboard. And now the left-hand hitting Billy Farnan will step in. First crack in the armor of Sam Davis today. In 5 innings, he's allowed 4 hits, but nothing else. He struck out 4 batters. Righty versus lefty. Nobody out. Here's the payoff pitch. The 2-2. He swings and misses at a curveball at 66 miles an hour. That's the first out. Evan Huber at first base. Jeremy Lamb will step to the plate, the right-hand hitter. The number 3 hitter is 0 for 2, the first baseman. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning. The Vikings trail by a run. That tying runs at first base. Here's the payoff pitch, the 0-2. And the side is retired. The batter strikes out. Top of the 7th inning. New Orleans leads 1-0. Through 6 innings, New Orleans has 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. Minnesota has no runs on 4 hits and no errors. Left-hand hitting Sandy Tello will come to the plate. It's Tello, Dake, and Davis due up for New Orleans, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Righty versus lefty. Here's the payoff pitch. Swings and hits the first pitch by the second baseman into right field for a base hit. Sandy Tello with a single. Good speed at first base. Here's the left-hand hitting Jeremy Dake. Lefty versus the right-hand pitching Amato. Top of the 7th inning. New Orleans leads 1-0. A home run in the first inning has held up. Here's the payoff pitch, the 1-0. The runner going. The throw to second base, and he's safe. Sandy Tello steals second base. So the Saints have a runner in scoring position, the insurance run at second base. And Jeremy Dake will step back in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. He is set in the air to right field. He races in and makes the catch. The runner on second has to remain there, and that's the first out of the inning. Nice play by Alejandro Navarro, the right fielder for the Minnesota Vikings. Sandy Tello at second base, 1 out, and here's the right-hand hitting Sam Davis, the pitcher. He's 0 for 2 today. He's 1 for 6 on the season. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. That ball gets away. It's a wild pitch, and the runner will advance to third base. Sandy Tello at third base now with 1 out. So the insurance run is 90 feet away, and the pitcher will step back in. The 2-2 count. Ground ball to the shortstop. He takes it on the infield grass and will throw to first for the out. He looks Tello back to third. 2 out now. Nice play by Michael Capetillo, the third baseman for the Vikings. Here's the right-hand hitter Jamie Vanderlyn. Two out. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's hit in the air, and that's a base hit to right field. It's on the foul line. It goes all the way into the corner. That's a double, and it'll score a run. And the Saints are now leading 2-0. Sandy Tello scores from third on the Vander Linden RBI double. Here's the right-hand hitter, Tim Hoagland, the number 2 hitter. He's 0 for 2. The right-hand pitcher, Amato, versus the righty, Hoagland. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That one was in his eyes, and he swung through it. That's the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, a runner left on. New Orleans builds on their lead. It's 2-0. Fans at the Metrodomes now rise for the 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the 7th inning. For the Vikings, it'll be Navarro, Cook, and Mancia due up. Right-hand pitcher Sam Davis has pitched 6 innings. He's allowed 4 hits, no earned runs. He hasn't walked anyone, and he's struck out 6 batters. Having a fine day. A quality start. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Vikings trail by 2 runs. Righty versus lefty. Here's the delivery. The 1-2 pitch. The ground ball is on the ground to the pitcher's mound. He picks it up, throws the first in time for the out. Sam Davis throws to Tim Hoagland at first. First out for the New Orleans Saints. The batter now for Minnesota, the right-hand hitting Mike Cook. The number 5 hitter is the catcher. He's 1 for 2. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. Full count. The delivery. That's in the air to left field. He's racing for it, and he'll get there. Makes the catch for the second out. Left fielder Sandy Tello gets on his horse and makes a fine play. The left fielder for the New Orleans Saints. Here's the right-hand hitter, Alberto Mancia. Minnesota trails by 2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch from Davis. Full count. He swings and misses, strike 3, and that's the inning. Strikeout number 7 for Davis. No runs, hits, or errors, and no one left on base. The score remains 2-0 New Orleans. Top of the 8th inning. For the Saints, it'll be Lopez, Jenkins, and Thompson due up. We have a pitching change for the Minnesota Vikings. The right-hander Victor Gonzalez will take the mound. Gonzalez has pitched 3 innings this season. He's allowed 1 hit, and he struck out 3 batters. The left-hand hitting Jesus Lopez will step to the plate. He's the number 3 hitter. He's got a home run in today's game. He's responsible for the first run of the game. And now the Saints have an insurance run. It's 2-0 here in the top of the 8th inning. Saints hoping to add to their lead. The righty Gonzalez versus the left-hand hitting Lopez. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. That's in the air to center field. He's racing back. He's on the track, and that ball is caught on the warning track. A spectacular catch by Antonio Negretti of the Minnesota Vikings. The crowd loves that play. Let's take a look at the replay. This is without the super stats. You see him racing for it. And he makes the catch right at the wall. If I do the super stats, I think it'll give me a close-up. The 5-star catch difficulty. Wow. All right, now it follows the ball. And yeah, he got there and turned around and made the catch. Fine play. Now they lollipop the throw back, but we won't mince. Antonio Negretti in center field for the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. 1 out, top of the 8th. The Saints lead by 2. Right-hand hitting Bill Jenkins will step to the plate. He's the cleanup hitter. The right fielder is 1 for 3. Right-hand pitching Victor Gonzalez. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He swings and misses. Strike 3. And that's the 2nd out. First strikeout for Gonzalez. Right-hand hitting David Thompson steps up. He's the number 5 hitter. He's 1 for 2. Righty versus righty. The payoff pitch. That's in the air to right field. He's racing. He's at the track, and he's there. Side retired. The Saints remain out in front on no runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on. It's 2-0. Alejandro Navarro made a play in right field. Bottom of the 8th inning. For Minnesota, it'll be the bottom of the order, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Capetillo, Negretti, and the pitcher Gonzalez. Right-hand pitching. Sam Davis still in there. His 8th inning of work through 7. He's allowed 4 hits, no earned runs. He hasn't walked anyone, and he's struck out 7. He has 17 strikeouts on the season with only 7 walks. His earned run average is 1.64. Here's Michael Capetillo, the right-hand hitter. The third baseman's 0 for 2. Righty versus righty, the payoff. No balls, 1 strike. He gets that on the ground to the shortstop. He dives and can't get it. Base hit to center field. The center fielder throws it back in. Capetillo is on first base. The leadoff man has made it. The right-hand hitter, Antonio Negretti, who made the fine play, steps to the plate. He's the number 8 hitter. He's 0 for 2. The Vikings are trailing by 2. The tying runs at the plate. Here's the pitch. The 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. It's up the middle, and it's by the second baseman. I thought he had it, but they got the runner in a rundown between second and third, and he will make it to third safely from the rundown. So the Saints failed to execute the rundown, and Capetillo is safe at third. He is not fleet of foot. Bottom of the 8th inning. The Vikings are in business. They trail by 2. They have runners on the corners with nobody out. The batter, right-hand hitting Victor Gamboa. He's the pinch hitter for the pitcher. Right-hander Sam Davis still in there. Nobody out. Here's the payoff pitch. The 1-ball, no-strike pitch. That's in the air to left field. He scarcely has to move. He makes the catch. Runner tags, but he does not go as the throw comes into the cutoff man. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. The top of the order. Evan Huber will step to the plate. He's 1 for 3. Capetillo at third base. Antonio Negretti with good speed at first base. Second base is open. 1 out. Minnesota trails by 2. Here's the pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's in the air to right field. He's there to make the catch, and he catches it quickly, throws it in, and the runner at third cannot tag and score. 2 out now. And the left-hand hitting Billy Farnan will step in. Number 2 hitter is 0 for 3. 2 out. The tying run is at first base. Breaking the shutout is at third base. Here's the payoff pitch. 2-2. That's on the ground to the shortstop. He has it. He'll go the short way to second base, and that retires the side. Inning over. No runs on 2 hits and 2 men left on. The Saints still out in front, 2-0. We've played 8 innings. For the New Orleans Saints, 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. For the Minnesota Vikings, no runs on 6 hits, no errors. Pitching change for the Vikings. The left-hand pitcher, Ricardo Legra, will take them out. Legra is 1-0 on the season, 3.2 innings, 3 2/3 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, an earned run average of 9.82. The left-hand hitting Jason McGuire will lead it off for the Saints, followed by Tello and Dake. Left-hand pitcher versus the lefty McGuire. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. That's on the ground pass. The first baseman into right field all the way to the corner. That's extra bases. He gets the throw in quickly. He slides, and he's safe at second. That was closer than it needed to be. It's a double to lead off the top of the 9th inning for the Saints. They lead 2-0. The left-hand hitting Sandy Tello will step to the plate. He's the number 7 hitter. He's 1 for 3. Left-hand pitching Legra versus the lefty Tello. The 0-1 pitch. That's in the air to left field. He's racing toward the warning track. He'll make the catch. 1 away. The runner on second cannot advance. Here's the left-hand hitter, Jeremy Dake. The center fielder is the number 8 hitter. He's 0 for 3. Lefty versus lefty. Here's the payoff. First pitch hitting to the third baseman. He scoops it up. Throws across the diamond after looking the runner back. And that's the second out. So McGuire is still at second base. 2 out now. The right-hand hitting pitcher, Sam Davis, will step to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Lefty versus the right-hand pitcher. Batting for the New Orleans Saints. Here's the pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. It's on the ground to the first baseman. Slow roller. He'll scoop it. Go to first himself for the unassisted putout. That's the inning. Nothing on one hit for New Orleans. The Saints lead the Vikings 2-0. 8 innings of shutout ball for the pitcher, but now they're going to go to the closer, I believe. Right-hand pitcher Edwin Flores will take the mound for New Orleans. He's pitched 3 innings. He's got 1 hit. He's walked 1, and he's struck out 2. He's got 1 save on the season. For the Vikings, it'll be Lamb, Navarro, and Cook, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Due up. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball at 92. That's his 3rd strikeout this game. Ouch. Hit batter is left-hand hitting Alejandro Navarro. He's on a hitting streak. He's 1 for 3 today. Righty versus lefty. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Vikings trail by 2. Here's the payoff. Full count. The delivery. And that misses. Ball 4, and he'll take his base. So with 1 out, Navarro walks. Right-hand hitter Mike Cook steps to the plate. He's the number 5 hitter. He's 1 for 3. The tying run at the plate. Bottom of the 9th inning. New Orleans leads 2-0. Here's the payoff pitch. That's in the air. It's hit deep. It's carrying. And it will leave the yard. And this ball game is tied up. Mike Cook ties the game with a 2-run homer. Let's take a look at that one, the tail of the tape. Mike Cook hit a ball 398 feet to left center field. 100 miles an hour off the bat, 35-degree loft angle, a 70-mile-an-hour curveball off the pitcher, Edwin Flores. Good old number 35 touches them all. That 2-run shot puts the Vikings back in this game. Shortstop Alberto Mancia will step to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Righty Flores now ready. 1 out, bottom of the 9th inning. Now the score is tied. Here's the payoff pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. That's a ground ball up the middle, base hit. So with 1 out, Mancia gets a base hit. Not a threat to steal. The right-hand hitting Michael Captillo will step to the plate. He's 1 for 3. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Winning run at first base. Here's the payoff pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's in the air. That's a base hit to center. The man on second will stop there. Still only 1 out. And Michael Captillo comes through. So the Vikings now 2 on with 1 out. The batter, right-hand hitting Antonio Negretti. He's the number 8 hitter. 1 for 3 today. The righty Flores versus the righty Negretti. The payoff. It's the first pitch. Past the second baseman. And the bases are loaded with 1 out. The winning run is 90 feet away for the Minnesota Vikings. They spent 8 innings with no runs, and they have scored 2 here in the bottom of the 9th inning and now have a chance to win this game. The batter, right-hand hitter Sergio Torres, the pinch hitter. He's 2 for 4 on the season with a run batted in. The righty Flores still in there, facing the right-hand hitting Torres. 1 out. Mancia at third, Captillo at second, and Negretti at first base. Here's the payoff pitch. The ground ball is hit. The shortstop is there to catch it and gets the force play at home. He goes to first base, and he is safe at first. So the runner is out at the plate on the fielder's choice. Michael Captillo is going to third base, and Antonio Negretti is advancing to second. So there's 2 outs now. The run does not score, and the score is still tied. The batter now, the leadoff hitter, Evan Huber. The second baseman is 1 for 4 today. So Michael Captillo is at third base, Antonio Negretti is at second base, and Sergio Torres is at first base. 2 out, the score tied. Here's the payoff pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. The delivery. That's on the ground to the shortstop. He picks it up. He goes the short way to second base to get the force play, and we get some free baseball. Through 9 innings, the score is tied 2-2. Top of the 10th inning. Pitching change for the Minnesota Vikings. Now on the mound, right-hand pitcher Odilio Senza. He's 0-1 on the season. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 3 earned runs. He's walked 3 and struck out 1. His ERA is 5.40. Top of the order for the New Orleans Saints. It'll be Jamie Vander Linden, Tim Hoagland, and Jesus Lopez due up. Score tied 2-2. New Orleans had the lead for 8 innings, and now it's a new ball game. Here's the payoff pitch from Senza. There's a ground ball up the middle, base hit. The leadoff man is on. So Vander Linden is on. Good speed. And here's the right-hand hitter, Tim Hoagland. Nobody out. Top of the 10th inning. Saints tied with the Vikings 2-2. Righty versus righty. The payoff. And the runner's going. And the throw to second. And he steals second base, and there's a throwing error charged to the catcher. Vander Linden will go to third base on the throwing error. And the go-ahead run is 90 feet away at third base. Mike Cook gets the error, the catcher for the Minnesota Vikings. So the right-hand hitting Hoagland will step to the plate. He's got an 0-1 count. Nobody out. And here's the pitch from the right-hander, Senza, to the righty Hoagland. The 0-2 pitch. That's in the air to right field. He's racing toward the foul line, and he'll make the catch in foul territory. The runner on third will tag up and score. And the Saints have taken the lead here in the top of the 10th inning, 3-2. Here's the left-hand hitter, Jesus Lopez. He's the number 3 hitter. He's 1 for 4. He hit a home run in the first inning that we thought might hold up. They added an insurance run in the 7th. But 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th by the Vikings has tied this game up, and now The Saints have regained the lead. Right-hand pitcher Senza versus the lefty Lopez. Here's the payoff pitch. Full count. And that misses, ball 4. And he'll take his base. So the Viking pitcher Senza walks a batter here in the top of the 10th inning, already trailing by a run. Lopez, not a real threat to steal. The batter, right-hand hitting Bill Jenkins. He's the cleanup hitter. 1 for 4 today. Righty versus righty. Here's the payoff pitch, 2-2. That's on the ground to third base. He goes to second for 1, and he'll turn and fire the first in time. 5-4-3, double play. Inning over. Nobody left on, but New Orleans does score a run. The Saints have gone ahead 3-2. Bottom of the 10th inning. 1 to tie, 2 to win. Pitching change for the New Orleans Saints. The new pitcher is the right-hander Dave McMenemy. McMenemy. Dave McMenemy. He is 0-1 on the season with 6 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, no earned runs. He's walked 3 and struck out 8. His earned run average is 0. For Minnesota, it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up: Farnan, Lamb, and Navarro. Right-hand pitcher versus the left-hand hitting Farnan will lead off the bottom of the 10th inning. Minnesota perhaps has the momentum, but we'll see. Here's the payoff pitch. Righty versus lefty. No balls, 1 strike. It's on the ground to third base. He'll scoop it up, throw across the diamond, and make the play. First out. Jamie Vander Linden, the third baseman for the Saints, makes the play to the first baseman Tim Hoagland. 1 away. Right-hand hitter Jeremy Lamb due up. He steps to the plate. He's 0 for 4 today. Righty versus righty, the payoff. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He checks his swing. No, he said he went around. And that's a strikeout. 2 out now. And the Vikings are down to their final out. Left-hand hitting Alejandro Navarro will step to the plate. He's the cleanup hitter on a red-hot streak. He's 1 for 3 today. Right-hander McMenemy versus the lefty Navarro. The payoff pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. Checks his swing, and that's a strike 3 called. Ball game over. New Orleans gets past Minnesota 3-2. And let's look at the total for today's game. First, for the victorious New Orleans Saints. They're now 9-4. They scored 3 runs on 8 hits. They committed no errors. The New Orleans Saints left 7 men on base. The Minnesota Vikings, who are now 7-6. The Minnesota Vikings, who are now 7-6, scored 2 runs on 10 hits with 1 error. The Vikings left 8 men on base. Saints pull off thrilling 3-2 win in extras. The New Orleans Saints snuck past the Minnesota Vikings 3-2 in 10 innings. The New Orleans pitcher Sam Davis, in particular, had a standout performance. Dave McMenemy was credited with the save for New Orleans, his third of the season. The win puts New Orleans at 9-4. Davis, who was born in Encinitas, California, California, threw 108 pitches over 8 innings while allowing no runs. "This is a resilient bunch," said New Orleans manager Scott Claxton. Jamie van der Linden had 3 hits. He scored a run and knocked in a run. He hit a home run and had 2 additional hits. I believe that's true. Everyone else had a single hit. Lopez, Jenkins, Thompson, McGuire, and Tello. For Minnesota, 3 guys with 2 hits. Catcher Mike Cook had 2 runs batted in, as well as a run scored. Let's look at the pitching. The winning pitcher is Edwin Flores. He also got a blown save. Dave McMenemy is his 3rd save. The losing pitcher, Odilio Cinza, for the Vikings. He's now 0-2. Sam Davis is the player of the game. The New Orleans starters pitched 8 innings, allowed 6 hits, no runs, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 7 batters. Didn't allow a home run. He threw 108 pitches. His earned run average is 1.57. The final score: the New Orleans Saints 3, the Minnesota Vikings 2. This is the Sim Baseball Vision. This is the Sim Baseball Vision.